What's going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's Sanger Roleplay here once again. Let's talk about patch notes because they were just released today, and I want to separate this video into 3 different sections, which are buffs, nerfs, and new things. And let's talk about the buffs first because they are pretty massive, but I don't want to be talking about any small damage increase on the legendary items because not the legendary but unique items, sorry. There were plenty of trash uniques that were buffed, and I'm really happy about this, but I will not be discussing all of this because they're literally just buffs across the board. I'll concentrate my attention on the very specific things which are here. First of all, the energy shield recharge rate is no longer interrupted by the non-damage changes to your life and energy shields. That's when you spend or gain energy shield on the Eldritch Battery. This is very strong. Tectonic Slam got a slight rework. It now deals literally 3 times more damage per charge slam, and now it has a 35% chance to consume an endless charge to create a charge slam, down from 100. This is very good. They will make you lose less endurance charges, and I honestly looking forward to Tectonic Slam build. I had plans for this in the previous leagues, and I know that people don't like Tectonic Slam. This looks a lot like other slam skills, like the ground slam, for example. It's very similar to this. It's very similar to, you know, ice crash, earthquake, and all this other things. But I want to mess around Tectonic Slam and just see how much of a damage it does now. Tempest Shield, instant, grants 3% chance to block spell damage. Very good, actually. As a defensive option, that's very good. Molten Strike also got a little buff, but also a nerf. I will talk about the buff first. The base damage went up a little. The projectiles reduction, which was a kind of a penalty, was 40% less damage. Now it's 30% less damage, which is better because previously I had 40, so this is very good. Now the most important thing that hyped the fuck out of everyone is casting critical strike support got his cooldown reduced by almost 3 times, from half second to 0.15 seconds, which is 3 times more cooldown, 3 times less cooldown. This is incredibly strong, and this league I'm gonna definitely see a lot of cast and critical strike builds out there. Another thing is cast and melee kill support has been also buffed, and I was dying to try cast and melee kill build for a long time, and the cooldown is literally what hold me from trying this. I have a couple of plans on cast and melee kill support. The rest of the buffs, like I said, they mostly happened to the different unique items, the bows, swords, and every other things that are pretty massive list. You can read them on the forums. I don't want to concentrate my attention on the small buffs again. I want to transition to the nerfs, most importantly. Now let's talk about the nerfs, and god damn it, guys, the nerfs are absolutely giant. There is a lot of nerfs, and I'm very happy actually with these nerfs, but with some I'm not very justified. The first and the most important thing is about stat sticks. RIP stat sticks. You can no longer use skills that require a specific weapon if you are dual wielding on one of your equipped weapons is unsuitable for the skill. For example, you can no longer do a reeve with the dagger and the scepter. This means that popular stat stick strategies will no longer work for attacks. The real question is about the spells. There are still Blade Warwicks and, you know, Glacial Cascade Mines, and I feel like Glacial Cascade and and basically Blade Warwicks, since they do not have any you know, attachment to specific weapon, I have a feeling that they kind of avoided the static nerf, and quite probably Blade Warwicks will be more than popular in Glacial Cascades to this league. Another thing is the temporal chains nerf. It went from basically the infinite slowing is now capped from 75. I know why they did it, because there was a build that made your things expire on your things expire extremely slow, buffing different slow interactions on you, and that's why you basically gained infinite Soul Eater or something like this. I can't remember the exact name, but that was the exact reason why Temp Chains has been capped at 75. Phase Run, another nerf, 50% reduced visibility to enemies down from 80. This was done to prevent darkness farming, because a lot of people farm darkness for the fossils, ran with the infinite phase run, completely undetected. This will make the monsters to actually hit them once in a while and rip them. This is very healthy. Block chance support. This is actually very interesting, because you know, I could not even remember there was such a gem such as block chance reduction support, and then I realized this is purely a PvP support gem. It's really curious. I can't remember that such a gem even existed in the game, but it looks like actually useful for PvP as well as maybe for Hall of the Grandmasters, because there are very tough block guys there, and possibly in other content. I'm not sure about this. So the block champs at gem level 20 went through 20% down from 29, which is pretty pog as well. Another nerf is to the Eldritch Battery. Like I said, Eldritch Battery got a little buff out there, but also now causes you 50% less energy shield recharge rate. At the same time, there were different clusters added to the tree, which allowed you to increase your energy shield recharge rate by around like 10%. So it's kind of negates this thing as well. There's also a nerf to the Shaper and Elder Guardians items, exclusive to the Shaper Guardians and the Elder Guardians. Now, the items that are exclusive to these monsters, they now drop less frequently. Unique exclusive to the Elder Guardians 2 also drop based on map tier, with some items unable to drop until higher map tier. This is actually very good. This is another giant big nerf to stat sticks. The Shaper weapon mods, which cause you to gain a portion of fizz damage, extra cold fire, lightning, extra damage of random, grant half as much extra damage, rip stat sticks entirely. Amulets are unaffected by this change, and this does not affect existing items, so the stat stick that you have will be as powerful as they are, but the existing versions should not be divine, because it will just basically cut everything in half. Now there's another nerf. Ruby Sapphire and Patsh Flasks no longer granted maximal resistance, which are 6%, and 1% of max rest gives you 4% reduced elemental damage taken, which is 24%. Instead, they each reduce the damage taken of their elements by 20%, so just a 4% nerf, guys. Queen of the Forest has been nerfed again. This is very fun, actually. Queen of the Forest now grants 1% per 600 evasion rating, up from 450. That's my Queen of the Forest stock of a Legacy Queen of the Forest grew up on my standard. Up to 75% move speed, down from 100, so it's 25% less move speed. This is pretty strong, but still, you know, it's not entirely kills Queen of the Forest. It's just a nerf, like straightforward nerf, but doesn't really kill Wind Rippers out there. Impulse's Broken Heart also nerfed, which is pretty interesting. It deals like 5% fixed percent of maximum life is lightning damage. When you kill shocked enemies, it has been arranged from 5 to 10. Now it's set at 5. It potentially can pop, you know, less mobs at a time on the screen. So stick to your Impulse's Broken Hearts. They are very valuable now. Syntrax was surprisingly nerfed too, down to 150 energy shield, which is pretty weird. They're all affordable cheap boots, but it looks like grinding games are not happy with how cheap they are now. Sedima's Touch got hit pretty fucking hard. It's down to 5 to 10%, down from 12-16, which is about 2 times the nerf. It's pretty big, and I'm already getting whispers on standard from people to buy my Sedima's Touch. Indigan was completely destroyed, is down to 20-25% increased spell damage, and also have a capped at 2000% spell damage. Is also pretty retroactive, so all Indigams will be capped at 2000%. So Indigon will be raising in price definitely. It's pretty big hit for the Indigon builds out there, especially the the Poet's Pen Indigon builds is like completely destroyed. Quill Rain has been completely wrecked. This is unpredicted change. I did not expect them to destroy poor Quill Rain. Quill Rain now causes you to deal 40% less damage. And it doesn't mean weapon damage, because Quill Rain doesn't really have any weapon damage, but all damage. It effectively almost makes it very weak in all builds that utilize Quill Rain, including, unfortunately, the Toxic Rain Pathfinder build that I created. But it also means that we'll be using Linus Glare and some Storm Cloud or Tempest from now on. It doesn't mean that Quill Rain is dead entirely, but it will be definitely much kind of less useful and less OP for the many builds, including the Toxic Rain build, unfortunately. Wind Ripper has also been pretty wrecked hard. The crit strike chance went down to 30-40% from 60-80, and Wind Ripper is all about killing frozen enemies, but the flat lightning and cold damage went up. I'm not entirely sure how this will affect all existing Wind Rippers. I'm not very familiar with Magic Find Wind Ripping, but I think it will hurt in a bit. Chainsaw also deals 50% down from 100 more damage with arrowheads, but the flat fizz has been increased by around 100%, so I'm not entirely sure this is buff or a nerf for now. I think that more multiply is more interesting. That's why Chainsaw was so good in the first place. Divination Distillate has been pretty damn nerfed. No longer provides additional max res, just provides plus 50 all res instead. Is definitely nerf. Wildfire killed instantly. It now limited to 1. Goodbye Molten Strike. Zerf's Last Breath has been killed almost entirely. Look at this. The buff when you get from the life recovery is removed when you are hit, so basically you just can't go and delve like crazy with the retarded amount of life recovery for the Zerfis. It's been completely devastated now. Gluttony of Elements, Bloods of Corruption skill now also prevents those affected by the aura from gaining Val Souls. This effectual version of the item is also preventing chain gaining Val Souls, and this is incredibly strong nerf as well. Look at this. This is probably the funniest nerf I've seen, along with the phase run. Slightly reduced the damage dealt by the Darkness Bane on the player life and initial, and added a small amount of flat damage per damage stack. Literally, this along with the phase run nerf that we see here, it completely kills Darkness Farmers. This is incredibly good. This is very healthy, and I really hope that now Delve will be really clean from all bullshit and exploits and stupid farmers running in darkness, stupid Zerfis, Pathfinders, and other crap. In the last section, let's talk about actual new content and features. If you're following Path of Exile, you probably know the most core new features that are gonna happen in the upcoming Betrayal League. They will have new masters, Alvanika, Einhar, and June. Along with Zana will be 5 masters in the Betrayal League, 4 masters in the Standard League. The hideout system has been completely overhauled. And the most important thing that I think here is special map only hideouts are waiting in the endgame but are rare to stumble upon. We will be actually finding hideouts in the wild. The master crafting has been completely revamped too. We have now one single crafting bench, and we can override crafting mods previously crafted with the cost of a scoring orb. This is very nice. Now to the new skill jumps: Shattering Steel, Lancing Steel. These are actually the attack skills. Winter Orb is a spell. The most curious thing about everything for me personally is there's also numerous amount of brands. Brands is like a totem skill that gathers strength, and then you can unleash and get a massive buff for you. And for the allies, there's also the bone shield support and the multiple totem support. Multiple totem support grants you 2 maximum number of totems. You just summon 2 totems instead of 1, but they deal less damage. It becomes really ineffective. It basically gives you ancestral bonds with a skill gem, but you deal less damage with it. This is it. Bone chill support is very interesting because there's a new layer of chill damage over time. The cold damage over time has been introduced more vastly within this Betrayal expansion, and this is one of the areas that I personally want to explore as a build creator. I want to do some chill damage over time, cold damage over time, probably even chaos damage over time build in the future. The focus skill, like I said, will be tied to the veiled mods over there. Once you get focus, you get their buff, which lasts for several seconds. They also 30 new unique items: Faded, Prophecy, 5 divination cards, hideouts, 5 new maps, lab enchants, and all that crap. There's also a new debuff called Impale. When a hit applies Impale, a portion of that hit's physical damage is recorded before the Soul Source of Endeavor mitigation are applied. This is pretty interesting. That's like a stacking physical damage along with the bleed and everything else. It's just pretty interesting. The next 5 hits, again, the target applied the record damage as reflected phase. This is very interesting mechanics, and I'm gonna see some kind of interaction with this thing in the Betrayal. The Ascendant's bells also touch the Occultist Champion and the Hierophant. The rest were mostly untouched. Occultist got a lot of interesting things like non-ailment chemist over time, chilled, cold damage over time, so it will be very interesting to walk around. The Occultist Champion got a lot of things that we'll be working with in Pale, as well as banners. It's very interesting. The Hierophant also got a lot of banner things, and the Ritual Waiting no longer grants +1 to maximum of summon totems. Instead, it now causes skill that would summon a totem to summon 2 totems instead. This is pretty cool, and grants more damage per totem, unlike less damage with the multiple totem support skill. This is actually pretty damn good. There's also very different minor improvements, like the map icons have been updated to indicate that they are part of the new series. This is also very nice, and the most maps will go to the legacy, but look at this. Existing maps from the previous series have been updated to these new versions. I think that it actually means that we will not have a layer, like a layer of legacy maps. I think they will kind of update themselves. Aside from the maps that will probably change tiers or will be completely different names. There's also a lot of minor interface improvements, like the symbols will be shown with the different premium stash types to incorporate differentiate them. We can also buy stacks of currency, and this is probably the most important things that I want to talk about, guys. What I personally hyped about Betrayal is the cold damage over time, Winter's Orb. I'm also pretty curious how NERFS will affect the current delve mechanics, because I really hope that the delve will be an actual challenge from now on and people will not find any other exploit and get the crap out of it. So I really hope that this video will be useful for you guys, because I wanted to concentrate on the very important aspects of what are the crucial aspects we are expecting in the Betrayal. Thanks for watching. See you soon. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, being it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join the Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching and listening to all this. See you soon.